morning, people. I'm Abby, this is Ryan, and you're watching Lost Among Locals. This week, we are going on a Turkish road trip. We're excited today because we are going to pick up our friend Kristen. We haven't seen her since Mexico, yes, but we are both in Turkey at the same time. We talk almost every day, but haven't seen her in person in a while, and so we're going to pick her up now. Super excited! And then we are off to see all the old and magical and beautiful places in southwest Turkey. So, here we go! Alright, you guys, we found Kristen. Kristen, hey! We're excited to have Kristen back. We are here at Pergamum, which is like right outside the modern Turkish city of Bergama. So we got really creative there. Pergamus or Pergamon or Pergamum, however you want to say it, 3 different spellings, is a super old city that has some really incredible ruins. It's one of the northern churches of Asia mentioned in Revelation, and it was a big Greek town with all kinds of crazy history and war history and all kinds of stuff. So these ruins are from like about 200 BC, somewhere in that range of points, but there's actually been a settlement here as back as far as like the 8th century BC. So let's go look. Like the marble columns up here in this hot sun, they're still super white. A lot of it is still standing for these ancient columned buildings. Usually they're just in crumbles all over the ground. You can still see part of the pediment. Several of the columns are still standing, and this ridiculous amphitheater on the side of the hill I think is probably the best view for a movie or play that I've ever seen. Okay, you guys, so to get into Pergamum, it is about 60 Turkish lira, which is about $8. However, again, we found a magic pass. So this is the Turkey Museum Pass. It's very similar to the Istanbul Pass, except we actually probably could have gotten this one. It would have covered Istanbul too. We just, at that time, we didn't know we were going to be doing this. So anyway, it's good for 15 days. It costs 600 lira, which is about $80, but it covers 300 museums and archaeological sites here in Turkey. So if you're going to see more than 3 or 4, it's probably getting close to worth it. If you're going to see more than 5 or 6, it's definitely worth it for the 15 days. There is one for 7 days if you're here on a shorter trip that you can get for 360 lira, which is more, that's definitely a better, that's under $50. So if you plan to be here for 5 to 7 days and see 4 to 5 sites, that's probably your way to go. But the big one was what worked for us. It's going to be well worth it. And you can pick up these museum passes at any of the ticket booths to any of the major sites here in Turkey. It's a column. It's a column in a hole. I don't know why you'd put a column in a hole, but it's a column in a hole. At some point, it was a wishing well because there's lots of coins in there. I'm going to guess from a plethora of different nations.
Well, we finished our time here at Pergamon. It's really windy, and we're about to move on. All right, we drove back down to the bottom of the hill, and now we found, it's like possibly an old church, maybe? Ruins of an old church. So, it's huge, and we decided, man, let's stop and take a look, because, road trip.
We found this place on the side of the road. It's called the Red Basilica of Pergamum. It's one of the most complete and oldest buildings in the city, but it's down at the base, not at the tippy top where we were. We don't really know anything about it, except there was a big cistern with a bunch of stoa, and they are apparently carved in the form of male and female Egyptian gods. So it's a big old mashup. So this is the Red Hall, and it says they don't really know what it was for, but based on the decorations and stuff on the inside and the presence of a statue there, they know it was some sort of religious building. They said it has a lot of Syrian influences, actually, and I think it might have been like a Syrian cult that practiced Good morning, guys. We are here at Ephesus this morning. It is touted as one of the best ancient sites in the world to visit. The incredible library, the acoustics of the theater. There is a ton here to see. It's on about the same size level as Pompeii, so there is a bunch of stuff. It is famous for being in the Bible, the book of Ephesians. This is one of the places Paul preached a lot and some of the other apostles came to. It's also just a famous old trading city for the Greek Empire. So the ruins here are Greek. So there's a lot here to see. Let's go. So I forgot, I do know some Ephesus things in my mind vault. Ephesus was the home of the goddess Artemis. And the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus was actually one of the original 7 wonders of the world. And we're gonna see it here in a minute. And it had a giant, huge statue. You've probably seen it before, of Artemis with like the million boobs, like all the boobs. Really weird statue. It's actually in the Ephesus Museum. We'll see it later.
You're listening to
Rick Steves. I love him. He tells me all the nerdy things I need to know.
By the year 100, Ephesus had become a rich city of marble buildings and grand monuments, like the Hercules Gate.
Abby really has to go to the bathroom.
She really does. She's like bebopping towards it.
Gotta poo. Alright guys, so in these public bathrooms, this is one of the largest ones in the world. 40 public toilets. And they are not very far apart. Now, they weren't fat like us, so that helps, but literally pooping knee to knee with 40 other people on the daily. My mom would never poop. Y'all, this is ridiculous. Secondary B-roll. Listening to Rick Steves. Camera shooting for Instagram and such. This is ridiculous. Anyway, there's an area on the left of the Sacred Way that's like under this big awning thing. It's called the Terrace Houses. It has an extra cost to get into, or it's included on your museum pass. But it's amazing. It's covered in all kinds of marble. The floors are still the original mosaics, and they are beautiful. There's a ton of Roman paintings all over the place. It's incredible. This like lion mosaic floor even has like shading of his underbelly and like muscles and stuff. Like, it's crazy. These towel workers were A, really patient, and B, really talented. You guys, I have Davis insured. This one, thankfully, has her own travel insurance because, dear Jesus, they have both fallen down 14 times today.
That may be a slight exaggeration.
Between the two of them.
Fallen down or just stumbled a little bit.
Tripped. They've tripped or slipped.
Look at the floor. It's slippery and very uneven.
OMG. It is slippery and very uneven. Given. So Ephesus in its time period, at its like peak, it was like 100 AD during the Roman period, and it was a big port city. It was actually the western start to the great silk trade road through the east. So the port was right here at the city on an inlet, but it kept silting over and silting over and silting over, and over the centuries, now the Aegean Sea is actually 3 miles away. So you started with a port that was right at the edge of the sea. Now it's like 3 miles away, and that was part of the reason, with a lot of other geopolitical reasons, that Ephesus sort of just toppled eventually.
Tell them how you're the smartest person.
You're the smartest
I'm the
person.
smartest person in the world.
Tell 'em.
Because when we came here, it was absolutely chock full of people. And I said, you know what? Let's go down there first because there's very few people there and all the tour groups are all walking at the same pace. We come back and voila.
In the world, smartest person.
In the world. Yeah. They'll give it to nothing.
I mean, look at this. Almost nobody here.
Depiction of what the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the world, originally would have looked like.
So besides the archaeological site at Ephesus, some of the great things here in the vicinity, the supposed house of the Virgin Mary, and also the supposed burial place of John. So the story goes that when Jesus died, he gave over his mama to John. And be like, John, take care of my mama. Because Jesus cared about his mom and stuff. And so John ended up here at Ephesus at one point when he wasn't in a cave on Patmos and supposedly brought Mary with him. We tried to go to the house, but it wasn't on our museum pass, and it cost a whole lot of money to get in there because it's a pilgrimage, and we're not into spending a whole lot of money. So we waved at it from the parking lot, and now we're going to the Basilica of St. John, where he is supposedly buried.
We're in this tiny little, I guess, old town of Şirince. This little town's close to Ephesus. It's got a lot of just like cobblestone streets, lots of little shops, place to eat, lots of wine tasting places here. You can get lots of wine and fresh juices. And I guess that's where they kind of grow all that. So, yeah.
Super
nice
cute.
Town.
This little town of Şirince looks like Bedrat a little bit. Like it has sort of the same vibe, but then like mixed with one of the coastal towns from Bulgaria.
See what I mean? Look, it looks like Beirut. It's like another city of windows. If you haven't seen that video, we'll put it right here for you.
I swear we have stopped at every dog. Cute little restaurant we're having this morning.
Yeah.
They're making us this giant, huge, salted crepe thing that has like meat and
Tea's fine. Morning! We have stopped at this little roadside cafe outside of Kuşadası because we are all hangry and starving. So we've been working all morning, we hungry. We have no idea what this thing is that we're eating, but it's like this giant pizza-sized dough that's filled with meat and cheese and greens and tasty things. And it's made by the most adorable little ladies I've ever seen. And Kristen says they look like they give good hugs, and I agree.
Definitely give good hugs.
Definitely.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could get a good grandma-sized hug from them.
I mean, we can always ask. Okay, so the little lady that we think probably gives great hugs, she also brought me a blankie. I might never leave this place.
I think this lady's gonna be my new Turkish grandma.
She's like, yep.
I'm completely convinced she gives great hugs now.
That's true.
What's up, guys? We are here at the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus, which is our second ancient wonder of the world this week. We've already seen the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, and now we're here at the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. So this giant sucker was built during the Achaemenid Empire for a king named Mausolus. That's where we get the word mausoleum. It was huge. It was built for him and his sister wife Artemisia, which is weird, but hey, whatever. Weird times. So this thing was gigantic. It was built as their tomb. There is not much here of it left today, but it's in the modern town of Bodrum, Turkey. So let's go see what's left in this pile of rocks. P.S. I forgot to tell you, it was built in 351 BC. You're welcome. All right, guys, so we don't know exactly when the mausoleum was destroyed. We know it was about 150 foot tall from top to bottom. And we know that in the 12th century, it's recorded as being a wonder from a guy that saw it, some Greeks that saw it. But then by 1402, when the Knights Templar got here, they said it was in ruins. So at some point in that 300-ish years, it went kaput. They think probably by an earthquake. And a lot of the stones were carried off to build the Castle of Bodrum, which we're gonna go see later.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
How they get those perfect squares.
I don't understand this with no tools. This business.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, the perfectly circular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Aliens.
The more of these ancient sites I see, the less crazy that wild-haired guy on the Alien show, the History Alien show, looks. I think he might be onto something.
So we're here at Bodrum Castle. It was built by the Ottoman Empire in the early 15th century. It also has the underwater museum here all in one, and your museum pass gets you in here.
I just wonder, like, who was the first crazy person who was like, yep, I'm gonna put this big steel helmet on and go into the ocean. It's gonna work out great. So the last shipwreck room we just went in was from the 7th to 6th century BC. So it's been under there for like 2,600 years. That's crazy. Morning, people. It's not morning anymore, and I don't know where we are. We've been driving through the mountains. It was an absolutely glorious drive, but I didn't film any of it for you because, well, we were just trying not to puke. So, but trust me, there was a curvy road and mountains and lakes, and it was glorious. Now we are at some ancient site. Not really sure where it is. I do know that it's in southwestern Turkey. somewhere near the tombs of Kronos. That's all I got. To the theater!
Somebody has to pee really bad. It may have a trickle.
A gallon of coffee.
Those were really big coffees this morning. That was...
Praise the Lord.
Abby was...
I finally got an actual coffee.
We know that this was an ancient city founded in 10,000 BC.
Holy crap.
And it was the capital of Halicarnassus people. And it was a really important port city.
Sweet.
So let's go see what there is.
To look.
We get up here and we're starting to film and Abby's like, hey, by the way, the camera battery's dying. You know, we couldn't have checked that before we left the car. I get to the gate where I left them and of course they're not there, so I guess they decided to go down. So now I gotta find them. Walk down and hopefully they're somewhere close. This is a really big site.
Okay, so that was really cool. We just walked up on this tent back there. They wouldn't let us record, sorry. But they are actively doing excavations at this site in Kaunas. And they just found like a graveyard, or at least a grave. And there's a full skeleton in there. So who knows what we might have just come up upon. I've never seen an excavation of a tomb. That was very interesting. I mean, I hope I never like find another dead body in my life that's not like thousands of years old, but seeing this one, pretty cool, like in situ and still in its burial spot was pretty cool. So, yay for today. Fun things.
What are you doing?
He's got something stuck in his mouth. Or he's got Tourette's, I'm not sure. Dang it, you guys, you're not gonna believe this. I just saw another goat sneeze. And once again, I didn't have the camera on. It's still as funny, it's just as funny as it was the first time. If you haven't seen our Patmos video, then you don't know what I'm talking about. We'll link it up here for you. Go watch it. We found beach goats, and one of them sneezed, and it was funny. It looked like he like had it styled and like fluffed on the top.
Don't bite.
You got awesome hair, dude. He's like, I know, look at me. These are the Lycian rock tombs of Dalyan. They are stinking amazing. We can't find any information on them whatsoever, except that only like 2 are preserved, and they think they are from the 4th century BC. There is a site here with a ticket office and booth, but the young gentleman across the street has told us they built the ticket office and then they never open it. And the government's had the place closed for the last 4 years. So he told us to hop the fence. So this is like someone's personal property behind this fence, not where we're on, but behind the fence. And like, I just kind of imagine like the local village kids being like, yeah, we have a playhouse. It was a 2,500-year-old Lycian tomb in the mountainside. Like, that's what I played in as a kid. Wow. So, we don't think there's any way we can get to the big ones, but we found kind of a goat path around the back to these smaller ones over on the side, probably where the poor people were buried. And it said, in what little literature we could find, that they would have been covered with a stone, I guess, like Jesus's, and like plastered over. So, I guess I had to dig all of these out at one point when they discovered them. We have found the goat path. I am not a goat. So, well, I am the goat, but that's different. Anyway, we're trying to make our way through here without breaking something.
We're going on an adventure.
We're always going on an adventure with you, Davis. He always wants to take the not path.
Yeah, you should be used to this by now.
Yeah, I am. So we have, at the base of the rock tombs, we have found a local farmer, pomegranate farmer. So he's explaining the process to us, and he gave us fresh juice, and it's super tasty. So are they ready now, or they'll be ready next month when they're really red?
Normal, the big farmer, this time they cutting.
Okay.
A little bit early because waiting to the market. Also
Okay,
another
sure.
place, 2 and 3 months waiting.
Okay.
But it's, I am use only juice,
Right.
waiting.
You wait. Okay. Alright guys, a local has given us a hint after we had our pomegranate juice, and we have found a way in through the local cemetery. So, holy moly. You gotta see these things. They're amazing, and I don't know how the heck they made it happen. I don't understand. 2,500 years ago, or 24, like, I don't understand how this happens. I don't. So this is Ölüdeniz Beach. It's a little town that we're staying in southwest Turkey. It's near Fethiye. It's supposed to be one of the most beautiful beaches in Turkey, and it is stunning, and you'll see some more of it tomorrow morning because we're coming back here to do something really exciting.